The success of my online business with Solo Build It has provided for the funds for my husband and I's Christian ministry into Germany. And this is my story.
Gerhild Fulson, Solo Build It business owner since 2008. Gerhild owns 2 sites. The first, just like Oma, is a recipe-driven online business. Just like Oma provides the income that supports the second site, Gottes Wort, God's Work, and the Christian ministry that she and her husband provide in Germany.
It's an interesting business model. Just like Oma makes the money and Gottes Wort spends it. And so the ministry site has absolutely no monetization on it at all.
Hello, I'm Paul Buckingham, roving ambassador for Solo Build It. Gerhild is just one of the many Solo Build It entrepreneurs that have created a successful online business using the powerful and unique tools created by the Solo Build It team. In this interview, we explore what it was that made the difference, turning her website into a successful online business.
I wasn't working it. I was just doing it. I was enjoying it like a hobby.
So, how did she get here to online business success from where she was?
It was more or less my thinking had to change. I had to change my attitude.
The full story is coming up right after this.
I'm an Oma, and that's pretty well. That means grandmother in German. And I love to cook. I love to read and all that kind of stuff. But years ago, and it's 2006, I believe it was, my husband and I, we went to Germany for the first time. My husband is a pastor, and we go over there, and we realize a lot of people there are, at least in the northern part of Germany, were very depressed, sick, all that kind of stuff. And we were ministering to them. We went to some churches and saw the churches sort of dead, and we came home and wanted to do something. And that was to put on some German resource material online. There was very little at that time. This is 2006. There was very little online. And so we thought we can do this. We had never done anything online before. We had no idea. And so I needed to learn how to create a website. And my friend was just at that point teaching how to do websites. And she was using SBI. She showed me her check that she had made. And I thought, oh, this sounds good. So I decided to join up with her little class. And so I learned how to build a website.
So what was your motivation for even doing it?
I wanted just the tech of learning how to build a website. We wanted to create a website in German, and German was not a language we spoke anymore. We only as children, so writing in German would have been difficult. Learning the tech in German would have been difficult. So I thought, I'll do it easy. I'll do a recipe site. I can do that without too much thinking of the actual content and just learn how to do a website. And that's what I did. I created a website. Once that was done, I went to the German one and did that.
What was your first site about?
The easiest thing I could think of was cooking. Recipes were easy for me. I could just cook. I'm an Oma. I cook.
The unique power that sets Solo Build It apart from all the other online business providers is the action guide. This is a 10-part program that somebody who wants to be successful online and build a unique following for their niche will follow. Given that Gerhild only really wanted to learn how to build a website, I asked her how much time she had spent putting the action guide into action.
Well, I sort of followed the action guide. So as far as doing a research, is this going to be a profitable site? No, I didn't do that. I wanted easy. I was very busy at that time. I was teaching, I was going to school, and I was learning how to do a website. It was a bit much.
So how did the transition occur? Was it quick over a year or did it take a long time?
In 2008, I started, and 2014, I realized, oh, I could actually turn this into a business. I had traffic. I had not done much with it. At that point, I had about 200 recipes online. So but you're talking years there that I've been putting stuff on. And I had an email list, so I was sending newsletters out, but I wasn't working it. I was just doing it. I was enjoying it like a hobby in that sense. And then I suddenly realized I've got an email list with thousands of people. Oh, I could actually do something. And then I went and actually almost started the website over again. There's the action guide that the SBI puts out, and I actually started going through it from the beginning. I had my site already. I wasn't going to change my topic, but I started doing keyword research and all that kind of stuff to see how can I monetize my site.
So clearly, what you seem to be saying then is that Solo Builder, through the action guide, was providing a context so that even though you were kind of just dabbling, because you followed the context, the system was working. Then at some point, you decided to ramp it up. Is that a pretty good summary?
That's exactly right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you decided to focus on it, what was your reason why? What was your reason why for going, oh, I'm now ready to really spend time on this?
All right. Well, my husband had already retired. I was retired now too. And we had time to spend more time on the ministry. And we were not about to do any fundraising. That was not our plan. Our website and the information we put on was totally free. We also went yearly overseas to minister over there. So there was money required. And I thought, oh, I could actually turn the recipe site into a monetization. And that was the plan. And all the money that came in with the recipe site would go for the ministry. And so now I had a real purpose to make this recipe site actually provide money. It was more or less my thinking had to change. I had to change my attitude.
There was not only a switch in your thinking and your motivation, your reason why, which is what you've talked about, but also in your branding, because originally your site really didn't focus on Oma, grandma. Can you walk us through the importance of the branding and what impact that had for you?
Absolutely. When I first started, my site was called Quick German Recipes with hyphens between, right? Lots of fun to write that on a mobile phone right now. And so it was Quick German Recipes. And it stayed that way until just a couple of years ago. And I had a little tagline, and it was just Quick German Recipes, just like Oma. And so after a while, I realized, oh, this just like Oma was pretty cool. And then I was talking to my sons one day, and I said, I need a logo. And so I said, everyone, give me an idea for a logo. And they all gave me ideas. And it ended up being a pot with the words just like Oma. And so I got my one son, who is the graphic designer, and he created a logo for me. And that's that just like Oma logo now. And so I branded and then branded the whole site, the colors, and I became Oma. So it was a matter of rewriting my pages so I would be more personal to the people, and I became Oma. And then that spread into social media. So I became Oma. So everyone talks about Oma. Oma Gerhild, Oma Gerhild, and I get letters from other grandmothers, and they call me Oma, and it's interesting, but it's that branding, it's that voice, and having people feel comfortable and that they can trust me.
Yeah, I mean, it's really powerful. It actually sets you right apart from any other German recipe site. And that's really the core of the point that we're making here, is that, when you're building an online business, you're not just building an information site, which you are, but you're also building a personality with a voice and a life. And that's what really shines through, doesn't it?
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. And that's important. Anyone building a website, if you sound just like you're one of the big companies talking to somebody, it doesn't do it. You need to be personal. You need to think of one person, and so you pretend you're talking to one person, and it's it develops trust.
So you've got some motivation, you've got some momentum, and you've got some clear branding. Now, what role has product had on your income and the success of your site?
A lot. It really has a lot. The easiest thing for me was to create ebooks, e-cookbooks, and personally, I wonder, why would anyone even buy an ebook? I mean, it makes no sense to me, because I Google for it. I Google a recipe and there it is. It's free. Why would anyone buy an ebook? And they do. They absolutely do. I've sold thousands of them, and it's like, makes no sense to me, but it's not about me. It's about that person there, and they want the ebook. They want to have the cookbook, and it's more practical for them. And so I wrote the ebooks, and then I developed the store, and the store then has cups and t-shirts and everything else, everything to do with Oma. And because of the website and the traffic I was getting, and joined to Facebook and the traffic there, a publisher found me. And an editor was following me. I didn't know that, but they followed me, and then they contacted me and asked me if I would write them a cookbook. And that just took off. And so now I've got a cookbook in print, and that never would have happened without this.
So you mentioned traffic and the gradual growth of traffic since you began the website as it was then, now into an online business. Do you mind sharing and articulating roughly how much traffic you're getting a month now?
All right, I get between 5 and 10,000 a day. That's the recipe site. German recipe site is very seasonal. The moment you hit Oktoberfest in October, Christmas time, the traffic goes up. And it's very cyclical as well. Sundays higher, rest of the week lower.
So Gerhild, you've clearly worked a lot with social. You've got a significant amount of traffic across many platforms. That takes in itself a lot of expertise. Is this something you've completely been able to achieve through Solo Build It?
Mostly, yes, absolutely. Right now there are action guides available for Pinterest. When that came out, I think it's been a year or two ago, I started following that because I had traffic from Pinterest, but not huge. Now I have over 1 million views monthly, and that kicks the traffic right to the website very, very nicely. Yeah, it's work involved. I use schedulers to schedule it, but that's all mentioned in the action guides, how to do that.
One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is how often social platforms change the rules. And one of the magnificent things about the Solo Build It Action Guide for Pinterest, also for Twitter, is that it's constantly being updated to fit with that. So, if you do a course or something that is like a year out, it's a year out of date. And so one of the huge advantages is that Solo Build It is not only for the action guide for free traffic from the search engines, but also from the social platforms is right up to date all the time.
That's true. I found, especially the forums are amazing. And in the forums, they constantly mention about the action guide, a little change here, a little change there, and it makes a difference.
So given that you've had such a long history with Solo Build It, what are the criteria that you have in your mind that somebody who's looking now at building an online business or even just getting started in a similar way to the way you did would actually need to be sure of being fulfilled? Because there are a lot of competitors these days. It's quite different to when you started.
Yeah. I have to admit right now, security is one of them. Security is one. SBI, I never have to think about the site being hacked, being offline, nothing. It's always there. In all the years I've been there, it's always there. It's always up. I don't need to think about anything that's happening online, just my content, what I'm doing, everything else behind their work. The tools are there, everything is there. It's a secure, safe place to build a site.
Is there anything else that you strongly recommend?
I would say follow the action guide from page 1, step 1, and don't deviate from it. Do the research properly. I had to backtrack. I had to go back and rebuild. I had the site. I had designed properly. That it functioned well. I had to go through the monetization steps. I probably would not have chosen German recipes as my keyword or the theme for my website, but because I'm getting traffic right now, because I did build it properly, it's being successful. But for somebody just starting out, they need to do the research properly.
Would you ever consider moving?
SBI? No way. Absolutely not.